Brings with him a rich experience of over 30 years in fragrances and 18 years in leading a competitive business in specialty chemicals. He's on the boards of Marico Limited and Kaya Limited.
It's my pleasure to welcome all of you to this conference. Honorable Minister of State, Shri Bhagwan Kubaji, special guest, Shri Pratap Keshri Deb from Honorable Minister of MSME, Chemicals and Energy, New and Renewable Energy from Orissa, Madam Secretary, Mrs. Nivedita Shukla Varma from Department of Chemical and Petrochemicals, Mr. Salil Singhal, Chairman Managing Director of PI Industries. Warm greetings to all of you for this session and the delegates and dignitaries. I would like to express my gratitude first and foremost to the Department of Chemical and Petrochemicals within the Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers for their invaluable and unwavering support. Today we are gathered to discuss a theme which is on sustainability, integrating sustainability and business strategy for chemical industry, challenges and opportunities. I mean, let me dwell just a few minutes on chemical industry. All of us are aware that chemical industry is an absolute necessity in the world, whether it's electronics, whether it's automobiles, whether it's consumer products, pharmaceuticals, agriculture, chemicals play a very, very critical role. And the Indian chemical industry has had a phenomenal growth over the last 10 to 15 years. Probably one of the few industries in the country which have been export competitive and have been growing through exports as well as the domestic market. Now, how does sustainability play a role in this? I think if we become responsible, there are lots of things we can do without even lofty goals, because even economically, it can be very, very attractive. You look at, simple things like working on yields. Yearly yield improvements can save a host of money and reduce our waste footprint, because ultimately what are you doing? You're getting more out of the same materials, or you're using less material for producing more, or for that matter energy. How much we focus kg per kg of fuel used, I think that itself benefits will far outweigh any expenses, and there'll be a payback on sustainability. There are issues on wastewater, 100% wastewater recycle. We all there's lots of people talk that that's not viable and so on. But I don't think we have a choice, because I think the choice is between no water and whatever we have. And let's not forget that as chemical industry, we are also taking away part of that from drinking water or agricultural water. So we should have a commitment to doing this. And the last thing, which is a pet subject for us, at least at Eternus, is solid waste valorization. What happens if in 5 years there are no dumping sites? The government decides that we will not have any dumping sites. What are we going to do? I think it's a very radical question, but unless we take it radically, these things won't work. I mean, there are many more things in sustainability. I just wanted to touch a few things where if we do it, I think there's a lot of scope in terms of savings. Or even small things in packaging changes. Why don't we use stainless steel totes to deliver our goods rather than using plastic totes? So I think that's something which I wanted to just state. But yeah, I think environmental sustainability has become a key focus area for at least the Indian Chemical Council. And we at the council would try and do as much as we can to push the agenda. And, we need to talk about case studies which make people realize that this is even good business. What is good for nature, what is good for mankind will become good business. So I think from the ICC side, we have been very, very active in responsible care initiative, and which has been doing well. Every year we are getting more and more people becoming members, and I think that is showing the focus which ICC has on sustainability, because responsible care in a big way is a measure of sustainability. Worldwide, this initiative is recognized by governments, by companies across the world, that this is the commitment of chemical industry to sustainability. So I think that's one of the reasons why we have been very keen directionally to keep organizing this sustainability conclave. And I'm sure it's a welcome step for bringing about awareness and building some capacity on sustainability within the industry.
Green plant to our secretary, Ms. Verma. May I request Mr. Karthi Bharatram to kindly present a green plant and honor our keynote speaker, Sri Salil Singhal, Chairman Emeritus, PI Industries Limited. Now may I request Mr. Ravi Kapoor to kindly hand over a green plant to our President, Mr. Mariwal. Also to kindly hand over a green plant to our Vice President, Mr. Karthi Bharatram.
Honorable Minister of State for Chemical and Fertilizer, New and Renewable Energy, Shri Bhagwan Khubaji, who is not here with us today. I do believe, do we have a message?
Yes.
Okay. Shri Pratap Keshri Dev, Honorable Minister for Industries, Energy and MSME, Government of India. Madam Nivedita Shukla ji, Secretary, Department of Chemical and Petrochemical. Shri Salil Singhal ji, Chairman Emeritus PI Industries. President Rajan Mariwala. Our young and dynamic Vice President Karthik. Ladies and gentlemen, friends from the chemical industry. It's a pleasure to see everybody on a full hall. And it's especially gratifying for me because I consider myself as the founder instigator of this event. I call it instigator because it needed instigation. And this instigation was very necessary because there is a general lethargy from industry when it comes to doing things which are not so easy to do and also appear not to be very shareholder friendly. So this is something that at least I was very happy to be a catalyst and instigator, and very gratifying to see the journey leading to the 5th edition of this event. Sustainability, ladies and gentlemen, have become a buzzword, and it's become like a fashionable word. Almost everybody wants to use the word. And we are a sustainable company, we are a sustainable organization. In fact, it's come to the point where, if I'm not mistaken, and maybe some colleagues from Europe will confirm, that the word sustainability is now restricted from use. And I think the first country which did it was Germany, where they said that if you're going to use this word, you better have the backing to prove that you're sustainable. Just don't say that, this is sustainable. And I think this is really one of the things that we need to take forward, that we need to use the word seriously, practice it, and we at ICC believe that this is the way forward. If I look at the topic of today's discussion, it's integrating sustainability and business strategy for the chemical industry, addressing challenges and opportunities. For me, this is the theme. One can complain or even go crying and say that, we already are in such a tough stage, and all of you in the chemical industry know we are at the toughest phase in the last few years as far as business is concerned. So we can moan and groan about that, or we can say that we want to do something about it which is actually useful and even profitable. And I recall a small idea. There is a village in Kerala, and I don't recall the name of the village, where they say those people there in the village are so smart that when they slip on a banana leaf or on a banana skin and fall with their face flat on the sand, when they get up, they have a coin in the mouth. Now, this is really what we need to do. This is epitomizes sustainability and sustainable practices. Industry has to use the opportunities which are coming up, has to take the challenges and convert it to opportunities. And hopefully at the end of these 2 days, as also the CEO Conclave today, we will get some indicators. I'm not under any illusion that we'll have all the answers, but we'll have some answers. And I think that's what I was discussing with Madam Secretary, that we have 3 or 4 ideas. We have a white paper which addresses this, and that's how we will take it forward. Things lying vacant at night. I've never seen anything like this. The kind of investment which had gone into real estate and the impact it had on the construction industry, which is only a commentary of how things are in the other countries. It was absolutely most disturbing to see dark buildings, thousands of them, and the construction industry down, which then affects all the industries. There is also a clear preference. I'm also spending a lot of time in Vienna and Europe, and there's also a very clear preference that buyers would like to buy rather from India than from other countries. And the reason for that is they look to us to become reliable source of supply. Now I'm giving you all this data or just these points just to establish that the need to grow the chemical industry in India is without any discussion. Again, has to be done, will be done, and in the next 10 years, we're going to see phenomenal growth. At what price does this growth come? I think that's why we are all sitting here today. At ICC, we have said clearly, we are for growth of the industry, but the growth of the industry has to be done in a responsible fashion, and hence we introduced responsible care. ICC is the introducer and the biggest advocate of responsible care, and that is a way of life for the chemical industry, because you can grow, but if you don't grow in a responsible fashion, there is chaos. If you look at the concentration on the chemical industry, and therefore it's a very welcome issue that the minister is present here, because I being from the western part of India and having benefited from the western development side, there is 500 kilometers from Bombay to Ahmedabad, or 450 kilometers, and 50% of India's chemical industry is concentrated there. So this could not be more opportune, and this for me is not sustainable, because in the end you are actually stressing the resources which are there in one segment of the country. And so it's more than welcome. In fact, it's absolutely wonderful to have the minister here and also to have all of you here to see that we have to grow across the country. If you look at Orissa, rich in raw materials, the right attitude that we have seen overall as far as welcoming industry is concerned, and I urge him to tell us a little more, when he speaks to us, on how industry could actually come there, and ICC we would be very supportive there. On behalf of the President also, I can say that we need a new kind of infrastructure across, and this infrastructure also has to be sustainable. This is also a key takeaway, I would say, from today's, today's symposium. Regards ICC, we are the oldest body, just for also Madam Secretary, we are the oldest body representing chemical industry. We have been around many years here. We have anybody who's anybody in the chemical industry is a member of ICC. We have introduced key initiatives like responsible care. We have a key initiative like Nicer Globe. But more than anything, there is a kind of an element of continuity. So if you see on the stage, we have the president sitting, the vice president sitting. The vice president will be the next president. We have continuity of philosophy, which is very rare in organizations because people have their own attitudes to various issues and key issues. And I think this is one of the reasons that sustainability and ICC will go hand in hand as we go forward. Business strategy. Take a business strategy and actually grow your companies, actually serve the rest of the world, because we have high level of intellectual manpower, and do the R&Ds required, do the development required, the pilot plants required, whether it's green chemistry, it's bioenergy, it's hydrogen, there's a host, and they will be addressed in this symposium. But this would be the central message that I give. Do not treat this as something which is a hurdle that cannot be crossed, rather as an opportunity which can be used. I think this is my message, and with that, thank you very much.
Singhal is absolutely a doyen of chemical industry, especially focusing on agrochemicals, and is now even coordinating on behalf of Government of India large investments coming into the industry. Mr. Singhal.
Thank you very much for that introduction. Honorable Minister Pratapji Dev, Secretary DCPC Nivedita ji, Rajan, Ravi, Karthik, ladies and gentlemen. I'm deeply honored to address this August gathering at the 5th Sustainability Conclave. And it's very interesting to see how the ICC has taken a lead in one of the most critical parts which affect the growth of the industry in one sense. As we said, chemicals play a great role in our everyday lives, but their production, management and use is highly complex and full of challenges. Sustainability being one of them. We talked of the figures. McKinsey says the chemical industry is $180 billion. Some say it is $220 billion as of currently, and is expected to go to about $400 billion 2030. And definitely the options and the opportunities to get it to $1 trillion by say 2050 is very much within the reach. And it is for us, the people sitting here and in the industry, to take it there as a part of the rapidly growing economy of our country. But we must do it in a sustainable manner, learn from the mistakes of the others, in as much as from their experience. Let me quickly go over the 7 key sustainability challenges that the chemical industry faces. The first and foremost, of course, is the reducing of carbon emissions. The industry is a significant contributor to greenhouse gas emissions, and we all know that. We need to reduce emissions. Examples are improving fuel efficiency, better process technologies, and so on. Transitioning to renewable feedstocks. Many are derived from non-renewable sources such as fossil fuels. Shifting towards renewable feedstocks like bio-based materials would be eco-friendly. Ethanol, I think, is an excellent example as a solvent. Minimizing waste and pollution. The chemical industry generates significant amounts of waste and pollution. The 4 principles of reduce, refuse, reuse, recycle, and recover needs very strong implementation. The 4th panel is the enhancing energy efficiency. Improving energy efficiency through technological advancements offer solutions. Energy efficient pumps, for example. Addressing water scarcity and resource management. Implementing water conservation measures and promoting responsible water management are crucial for sustainability. And then emphasizing product safety, minimizing toxic or hazardous substances, and promoting eco-design principles are essential for industry's long-term sustainability. Some examples are major innovations in paints to reduce toxic solvents, or the discovery of new chemistries for low dosage and safer than salt pesticides. But that's where sustainability has taken us, for example, in the agrochemical industry. Fostering and transparency and responsible supply chains, from raw material sourcing to final product distribution, can help identify and address sustainability challenges. So it's not enough to focus on what we do within the premises of factories, but we have to go far beyond to be a responsible, sustainable company. Many companies evaluate the sustainability practices of their suppliers before engaging with them commercially. I can share with you my experience that in 1995 we introduced this concept of custom synthesis for some of the global majors in our industry. One of the biggest issues was to be compliant to their ESG standards. And there was a huge amount of learning, huge amount of value creation, and huge amount of profits that came out of this. So this is a very proactive, pro-useful value addition of what we call sustainability. There is nothing new that I'm saying here. Let's be honest, we all know all this. But just as regular exercise is necessary to keep us in good health, we need to keep reminding ourselves of these sustainability goals so that the health of our industry can continue to be in good shape. The key point here is how strongly have we embedded these sustainability parameters in our business structures? Do we set specific vertical-wise targets to move up the ladder of sustainability? We target sales, we have annual conferences, annual meetings, call all the managers in a room, fire them for what they haven't achieved, and ask them to achieve a lot of things, profits, margins, costs. But are we on the same lines fixing sustainability targets with specific responsibility? Can we put these measures of achievement as part and parcel of our managerial KRIs? It has to become a part and parcel of our business planning. Secondly, like corporate culture, sustainability objectives cannot be fulfilled in silos. They need an integrated approach and must be driven by the top management. Sustainability has to be part of our corporate culture. In fact, now with technologies like IoT, AI, automation, data analytics, there are plenty of them which can speed up our action towards our sustainability goals. Also, given the focus, several global processes, frameworks and standards such as GRI, that's Global Reporting Initiative Standards, initiated in the Netherlands in 1997, SASB, the Sustainability Accounting Standards Board, created by the IFRS, which is the mother of all accounting systems, or the TCFD, the Task Force on Climate Financial Disclosures, chaired by none other than Mr. Bloomberg, under the aegis of G20, are available to us to judge our own performance and to learn what are the objectives we need to set for each of our companies.
A very senior bureaucrat has played a pivotal role in the formulation and implementation of policies related to the chemicals. And I must admit that since her coming in, she has taken deep interest in understanding the issues and challenges and is going to lead this sector from the front. Ms. Verma.
Honorable Minister of Industries, Energy and MSME, Odisha, Shri Dev Sir, esteemed office bearers of ICC on the dais, leaders from the industry, my colleagues from various ministries and states, ladies and gentlemen, I extend my greetings to you all. I am glad that the Indian Chemical Council is organizing this 5th edition of the Conclave to discuss the pressing matter of sustainability, which has far-reaching implications not just for the industry, but for the entire global community. It's a privilege for me to be addressing this distinguished gathering today, as it represents the entire gamut of the chemical industry. We are all aware that the chemical industry plays a pivotal role in the economic development of the country, as it provides necessary input material for various manufacturing sectors. With the objective of Make in India and Make for the World, Government of India, with its whole-of-government approach, is making all-out efforts to promote manufacturing capabilities in all the sectors. This is in line with our Honorable Prime Minister's vision to make India into a manufacturing hub and to become a $5 trillion economy. Our department is actively engaged in promotion of the chemicals industry and enhancing the ease of doing business wherever required. As we aim to provide a secure and reliable industrial ecosystem to the world, the chemical sector in India holds immense potential for expansion. With its natural advantages, India is an attractive place for investment, and this is borne out by the fact that about 90% of growth has been recorded in FDI in chemical sector in 2021 and 22. We also aspire to double our exports in the next 10 years. As we strive to do so, The world is increasingly becoming conscious of the sustainable management of resources. While there is a need to sustain industrial growth, it is equally important to identify sustainable and innovative technologies. The segments like agrochemicals, dyes and pigments, and specialty chemicals, in which India is a leading exporter, need to be strengthened with emphasis on adopting sustainable development approach. During the pandemic, we have witnessed major disruptions in the supply chains. There is also increase in unrest in other parts of the world, and the global supply chains have been shifting. In this scenario, India needs to be not only Atmanirbhar but also ready to seize this opportunity to supply to the world. For this, we need to achieve competitiveness and cost effectiveness by innovating as well as acquiring and adopting the newest technologies available in the world. Needless to say that the advantage of economies of scale and being competitive in cost would work in our favor only, and I repeat only, if it is coupled with clean technology and sustainable practices, because that is what will bring global acceptability to our products. If we fail to embrace clean technology, the world will not hesitate in turning it into a disadvantage for us. Our commitment to achieve net zero carbon emissions by 2070, as declared by our Honorable Prime Minister at COP26, is a guiding force for adopting sustainable practices and processes. The new paradigm emphasizes the need for efficient management of resources, development of green manufacturing processes, and efficient and quick disposal of waste, including its recycling. I am sure the industry is well aware of everything I have just said, and I am sure efforts are on to embrace these good practices. This fifth conclave on the subject is a testimony to the fact that the industry understands the importance of converting to sustainable processes. However, today, what I want to emphasize upon is that time is of essence in this exercise. Normally we say that change is slow to come, but in this case, we may not have the luxury of changing slowly. Out of a time frame of 50 years to become carbon neutral, 3 years have already gone by. So, we have to act quickly. We need to promote research and innovation in a big way, and we need to handhold and take along the smaller industrial units on this journey. Then only will the transformation be complete. The ICC Sustainability Conclave serves as a key forum for profound discussions on the subject. I appreciate the ICC for its proactive stance in taking such initiatives as responsible care and nicer globe. This demonstrates the industry's commitment to sustainability. I am confident that the discussions in the conclave will result in valuable insights for the industry and all stakeholders. Let this sector be the guiding light for all other sectors as far as adopting sustainable practices is concerned. I extend my best wishes for the event's resounding success.
Thank you, ma'am, for your address. Energy and MSME in the Orissa government. Under his expert guidance, Orissa has experienced a remarkable surge in industrialization, creating job opportunities and propelling the state towards a more prosperous economic future. The energy sector has been a cornerstone of his tenure, with a strong emphasis on harnessing clean and renewable energy sources, aligning with the global imperative of the sustainable development. The PCPIR at Paradeep has been a major initiative of Orissa government. Eastern India was not known so much for chemical industry, but this is a real big initiative, and we look forward to hear from him in making the investment in Paradeep not just of the chemical industry, but of sustainable chemical industry. Mr. Dev.
Thank you, Mr. Mishra. A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On the dais, the President of ICC, the convener of the 5th edition today, Shri Rajan Maliwala ji, the ICC Conclave Chairman, Shri Ravi Kapoor ji, Shri Salil Shingal ji, and on the dais, Srimati Nivedita Shukla Verma ji, the Secretary Chemical and Petrochemicals, Government of India, and Karthik. I welcome you all today to this 5th edition of ICC Sustainability Conclave. Initially, when I had decided to come here, I had prepared a text by my department to impress upon you all. But after listening to Mr. Rajiv Kapoor and Mr. Sehgal, I decided to leave my speech out there. It's better to interact straightforward because certain points you have raised need to be addressed outright. And as the Minister of Industries, MSME and Energy, Government of Odisha, time and again people have been addressing me as Minister of Government of India, Government of Odisha. So I am not ready for the promotion as yet. So coming to the point, very valid points were raised by Mr. Kapoor and Mr. Sehgal put together, both of them. Now, to start with, the perspective of my state Odisha generally doesn't figure in the itinerary, especially the chemical industry in our country. Well, we were always reported for the wrong reasons and a slow state, unprogressive state. But the dynamics have changed. You heard all the data given by Mr. Kapoor. 50% of the chemical industries as of today are concentrated on the western coast of the country. Whereas in the eastern coast we hardly have any chemical industry, though Government of India had taken initiative in Haldia, but that didn't take off. We are late beginners in industrialization in the country, and we have the advantage, I can say, of the late beginner. Why I say this? Because the basic ingredient which your industry requires, I in the state of Odisha, I am in the position to deliver you exactly what you want. I have got land, I have got surplus power, sustainable power, both fossil as well as RE, and I've got enough water. I've got 11% of the country's water, and I've got 17% of the country's forest cover also. I've got a 480-kilometer coastline with 3 functional ports and 1 in the making, which opens you up to the Southeast Asia. Why I say this? Because again, I'll come to that point later on, of the geopolitical situation turning in the entire world as of today. So with this basic ingredients, the 4 PCPIs planned by Government of India, one is planned in Paradip, which is on the coast, which is a robust port, and you'll be happy to know that this year the earning has been the highest in the country. So we have established a PCPI on the Paradip port with the anchor tenant being IUCL. They have got a petrochemical refinery there, and they are coming up with a naphtha cracker and a polypropylene plant there, which is like the mother anchor of the chemical plants there. So we need, and we are propagating and marketing ourselves to shift this 50% burden on the western coast of the country towards the eastern coast. Where again I speak the Prime Minister's mind, Purvodaya, look east policy. So Odisha is the most favorable destination as of today, which I have come to impress upon you all. Now, sustainability, reusability is the mantra why we are here today. And this necessary, cutting down carbon emission, whatever was said by Mr. Sehgal and Mr. Kapoor. On this regard, since we are newcomers, while we are setting up our industrial zones, we have been very careful in establishing these things and taking these things into account. Apart from having solid waste management system, solid fuel treatment system to deep sea discharge. And apart from that, we have designated two zones as chemically hazardous zones where we can dump our hazardous waste. So these are the basic things we have started up with, but what I take up from Mr. Sehgal's deliberations, my Principal Secretary Mr. Hemant Sharma is right in front of me. He will be speaking on the conclave later on, and he will give the details of what I am speaking. So one thing we need to incorporate in our policy is the responsibility. Sustainable responsibility added in our policy, because we have a very robust industry policy, and if you invest in the designated zone, we give up to 30% capital incentive from the government. And chemical industry, we are treating it as first area and priority area. Well, this industry, chemical industry as such as a whole, is new to my state. And that's why I said I have the advantage of the lead beginner. So whatever is the best practices today, both nationally and internationally, we will try to incorporate it. And one more important point that needs to be addressed also. Because being a late beginner, I had the advantage of learning from other states who are already into chemical industry in a big way. Is that you have to partner with the locals. It has to be an inclusive growth, inclusive, sustainable growth. If we don't include the population, if we don't include the regional advantages, sustainability becomes a problem in the longer run. We might set it up today, but we will have bottlenecks after 10 years. Now to have this entire setup running, the new chemical hub running, you rightly pointed out, we need skilled hands. I am proud to say today that out of the best 100 ITIs in the country, 11 are from Odisha. And the recent World Skill Olympiad, 6 of my ITIs won international awards. So now we are branding our state as skilled in Odisha. Not the skill part, but skilled in Odisha. I would have robust youth trained both in engineering as well as computers. I would have a workforce of more than 20 lakh boys and girls working in various parts of the country. And since we are the beginners and the new people coming into my state will off the hand get these people there in the home state. That's a big advantage for us. All said and done, this entire policy also shifts around opportunity. Today, the country as a whole, with the best handling of our Prime Minister and the Government of India, the opportunity thrown by the world geopolitical system has come to India. And it's a window, it won't stay forever. Because things, political paradigms keep shifting and changing. So we need to harness this window as soon as possible, as best as possible, with the best practices. Because if you see, we've been talking about cutting through carbon emission, like in Odisha. We have got the major industries of metals. As of today, in the country we are producing about 84 million metric tons of steel, of which 41 is manufactured in my state. Virtually about 75% of the alumina is manufactured in my state. So these are all heavy industries, all furnace-based industries. IPP and CPP put together, we are generating about 19,000 megawatts of electricity as of today. And we have a potential to increase that by another 10,000 megawatts in 10 years' time. Apart from that, add to that, to cut down carbon emission, we are actively coming out with a policy, PSP policy, that is pump jet propulsion system, which will double the capacity of hydel generation and also floating solar. Since we have got 11% of the water of the state and we have got about 69 major, medium and minor irrigation projects, we have got massive dams, largest one being Hirakud, which alone has about more than 50,000 square kilometers of water area. We are supporting something called floating solar. So that will give us a huge boost in the RE. And to couple with that, as of today while I am speaking, we have signed about 5 MOUs for production of hydrogen and ammonia, which is the next changing agent. Both put together will cut down carbon emission in all the heavy industries and other things, other industries, chemical industries put together by about 19% alone in my state. But this has to unfold over a period of 10 years because they have just started. About a few months back, we had gone to Japan. And that is what we learned out there. What is the importance of hydrogen and ammonia and how they are going to use it with the fuel, which changes the entire paradigm of auto industry. and how it will help to cut down carbon emission. So these are the new technologies which are on the horizon, and we being a state which is like entering the fray with everything intact and a robust economy, because everybody ultimately is business and business means profit. Telling you very frankly, nobody wants to invest where you can make a loss. So when the business houses come to invest, profit is a major component. So when I'm saying that I will be giving 30% capital subsidy and other freebies with that, I have that much money in my pocket. It's just not a political stunt. I've been growing more than the national average for the last 12 years now on that trot. I started when we came to the government in 2000, we had a budget of 21,000 crores. Today, my budget is 2.25 lakh crores. And not to boast, majority of them have been, 90% of them are in my own state income. And the majority of the income comes from my mining. I got all the raw materials available, like one says, to live a life, all the metals you require is available in my state. Right from rare earths, to coal, to manganese, to chromite, to nickel, to bauxite, you name it, we have it. So what else can be a better destination than Odisha? That is what brings me here, not only to be a part of your sustainability program, responsible sustainability program, but also to enlighten you that here in the east of the country, we are now ready to invite you all. So before I conclude, I will request you all to at least once come to the state, before investing, see the field for yourself, interact with the government officials, and feel confident, and I will invite you to join the Dragon.
Your invitation will be well accepted, and of course we will begin with a visit to PCPIR in Paradeep.